Okay. So look, if it sounds decent and it's okay with you guys, and it's not too bad, then no sound from camera and not lapel. Okay, Blaine, thank you for that. I have no idea how to get the sound into the computer. Anyways, if it's recording off the laptop and it sounds pretty decent, then I guess we'll just go ahead with it. But I know I'm probably going to be upset about it later. I'll see just quickly if there's any settings or anything here, but I don't really see anything. It is very easy to do this all on the cell phone last time. So let's kind of just deal with it, shall we? We'll give one last attempt. Otherwise, what I can do is if the sound is annoying, then you can just let me know and I can run upstairs and go and grab my podcasting microphone. So you guys just let me know if it gets irritating or whatever. Okay, awesome. So I don't want to get into all of the juicy stuff too soon because I want to just wait for the live stream to properly start. But yeah, we got some great folks in the chat here already. We got some people from Malta. I see some local Okies. There's some Yebo Yeses in the audience and some Housets. It's a good place to start. Greetings from Romania. Alexandru, good to see you here, buddy. Claudio, good to see you. And we got 4x4 Mega World. Good to see you guys here. Hey, Juba. Oh, Juba, I've been loving the daily Instagram stories. It's been a nice little treat every day to kind of get you out of that mental headspace of being at home. So it's much appreciated for being so consistent with that. It's been very cool. Got Mozambique here, Germany. I like your feed, man. Have you gone up Sani Pass in Lesotho in your Jimny? Freddie, I haven't done Sani Pass in the Jimny. I did Ongeluksnek Pass in my Amarok, which is like the hardcore version of Sani Pass. And that was very fun. Very, very beautiful. Like Sani Pass, but just you're on your own. There's just no one around. And it's just dirt road and rocks and everything. From Mauritius, Luxembourg. Great. It seems to be a good time to do this. Unfortunately, I don't think this is a good time for any of my Australian viewers, but it's okay. We're biased that way. They've got Andrew St. Pierre White to do streams at 3 in the morning. I wanted to tune in for one of his live streams, and I was like, oh yeah, let me set a reminder. Never mind. From Istanbul, Turkey. Great. All the way from Derbs. Ismail, right now, that's about 1 million kilometers away with the lockdown. So it's as good as being in another country. Hey, we got Isaac here from Australia. Isaac, what time is it? What side of Australia are you on? Okay, so we are 1 minute to go, and then we'll kind of get into it. Hello from Ghana. Oh, my word. 1:30 a.m. Okay, well, I'm glad you have got nothing better to do than tune in to this live stream. Hello from the UK. Where did you get booze? What booze? It's not booze, mate. It's tea. I am on a health and wellness program, so no time for booze. Nice to see you again too, all the way from Slovakia. Woo! So we have a very nice, diverse audience today. So this is going to be really good for one of the first things I want to talk about. And actually, one of the first things I want to talk about is an idea given to me by Blaine, who said to me, Adrian, why don't you have a form on your website where people can register and input their information on their vehicles, on their places they want to travel to, the types of trips, the amount that their vehicles have been modified, all of that stuff, and I form a database. And then when I want to plan a trip, maybe I want to, okay, it'll probably start with local stuff, So say, for example, I want to plan a trip in Joburg. I have a database of people in Joburg. I know what vehicles they have. I know what equipment they have. I know like the types of trips they want to do. And then I can get in touch with those people directly to bring them in on trips and things like that. So that's going to be something where I'm going to invite you guys to head over to www.roamoverlanding.com, right? And in the header banner, that big, beautiful video that plays right on the home page, you can just click there. There's a little button there that you can click on and fill in the information. And I don't care what country you're from or wherever. If I end up in New Zealand or Mongolia or whatever at any point in time, I would really love to have a database of people who'd be keen to meet up or go, maybe do a trip together, go for a day out on the trail, or even get information from about the area. So I would really dig if you guys would kind of participate with that. That would be really cool. It's totally up to you. I'm not going to be pushing it everywhere, and I'm more going to push it in places like live streams and things like that, where I know you guys are kind of like committed to Roam Overlanding and you resonate with me and things like that. So I would rather we talk about it in this kind of space, and then you guys can go ahead and do that. So I think it'll be cool. So I see you guys are kind of vibing that a little bit, because I want to start doing more trips, some group trips. I think it would be really awesome, especially from the Roam perspective of things. It will give me maybe a new way of generating a bit of income through Roam Overlanding, and maybe once a month or once every other month doing a Roam trip where maybe we gather 5 to 10 people and we go out and go do something cool. You know what I mean? What if it's just a day out 4x4ing, or I'll try to pick some interesting places, or it's a weekend, and then maybe once a year we'll do a 5 to 7 day trip. That I think that might be cool. I'm not a crazy cool tour guide or anything like My Life in Africa and stuff like that, but I think with Blaine, Blaine, thanks for sharing the link. So I would ideally like to have Blaine with on those trips, because he's like master navigator. Apparently he's good around a fire. I've seen him braai a couple times, but I haven't yet really tasted anything more than currywurst and a steak here there. But I've heard he's got some mad potjie skills. So I'd love to put that to the test with a group of people. I think that would be very cool. Nathan, look, the Western Cape is definitely a big audience for me, so I do want to spend more time in the Western Cape. It's luckily my brother lives down in the Western Cape, so I can stay with him, every now and then, but I can't stay for too long. I have to. Cape Town's super expensive, man. Yes to group trips. Maybe build a database on your website. Yeah. So look, that's a tricky thing. I haven't figured it out yet, Dizzy. What I want to do is I'll just have an Excel spreadsheet for now, and I'll have each tab at the bottom I'll just do for a different country, and I'll just fill that up with all that information. So then if I need South Africa, boom, I know, and I've divided up Western Cape, Gauteng, whatever. So let's see. So what I'm going to do, guys, is there's a couple topics that I want to cover first, just some announcements and things like that. And then what I'll do is then we'll move to Q&A. Okay. Just so that I can because last time I forgot to do so many things. I'd actually finished the form to fill in the form stuff for the group things last week, and I just forgot to mention it in the live stream. So, because you guys had me so busy. Zulda9, no, I'm not from the UK. I am in South Africa. It may even create support for those unfortunate moments where you are stuck somewhere and could use help to get you out the rut. Yeah, could do. I mean, you never know. Okay, so then what else? Okay, obviously last week, Wednesday, I uploaded the video for my Jimny review, and that has definitely gotten a lot of views and a huge amount of engagement. I think there was something 250 comments or something. that I had to kind of go through. I try to read everyone's comments. I don't have the time to respond to every single comment, but I was hoping that the guys who really wanted a question answered would tune into the live stream and they can ask here and I can answer to them directly, you know? Well, so what is insurance like? Will, where are you from? Because, yeah, insurance is a very good topic to talk about when it comes to overlanding, 4x4ing and stuff like that. So to be honest, you're in the UK. So look, I mean, being in South Africa, things are a little bit different when it comes to insurance. I don't know if ours is more expensive or less expensive, but I have a super comprehensive insurance plan right now, which covers me for cross-border repatriation and a whole bunch of very intense stuff specifically for overlanding and off-roading. And I think it's about, Fricky's going to shoot me if I get the number wrong. I think I'm doing about 1,600 Rand a month or 1,300 Rand a month. And that is like everything and all the accessories at the replacement value. So it's a lot, but for what I'm doing and for the frequency that I travel and stuff like that, that's pretty damn essential, man. So the company is called Cross Country, and it's done through Fricky. Oh my gosh, this is really gonna with Compendium Insurance, I think it is. Fricky, I wish you were here to correct me. Blaine will also know. But yeah, so they do like crazy, like if you get stuck in the middle of nowhere in Botswana or Namibia, they'll come and fetch you there. Whereas a lot of other insurance companies, you actually have to drive to the border. You have to get your vehicle to the border and then they'll pick you up from the border. Now that can be really difficult if you're stuck in a tricky situation. So having that extra level of kind of care for you when you're out there, if you got to pay a little bit extra for it, so be it, man. Ah, Vicky, there we go. You are here. Thanks for tuning in, buddy. Yeah, my memory is not so great. So I'll tell you guys, there's another announcement there. I've had a lot of people mentioning in the comments that they're worried about my health and they want me to lose a little bit of weight. And I know it's not from a negative point of view. It's a true story. So I mean, I'll talk to you guys a little bit about it. But yeah, I've kind of gotten really bored during this lockdown, and I've decided to start doing a bit of exercise and doing a bit of a healthy eating. So let's see how every week I tune into the live stream. You got to tell me if I'm looking a little bit skinnier. You know what I'm saying? I need a little bit of feedback from you guys. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm going to try and be as dedicated and as good as possible. I've done this process many times, but I'm going to try and make this one a little bit different and not end up failing on it. But yeah, so I just thought I'd let you guys know so you don't need to put those comments in there telling me I should hit the gym because I'm doing that. Okay. Any idea what is happening to Jimny sales worldwide in the future? I know sales are stopping this year in the UK and Europe. Paul, I think it's a very tricky situation with the Jimny at the moment. I think because the componentry it's like tried and tested, old school, like almost using the same components for the past 20 years, I just don't think. I think they need to bring the vehicle a little bit into the present. I think the technology is a little bit old and that it's reliable as all hell. But are you telling me that the new Toyota Land Cruiser is not reliable? Are you telling me that the new technology in the Toyotas are not reliable? Are you telling me that the new Land Rover Defender is not going to be reliable? I think they're going to be expensive to maintain, but I think you can build reliable vehicles with modern technology. And I just think it just costs a hell of a lot. And I think that's something that Suzuki's maybe just not ready to. They haven't been ready to take that jump just yet. They tried with their braking system, that automatic braking system and everything, and they try to bring it up to get the Euro NCAP level up. But I mean, so many people have complained about that system being faulty. People have been driving on the highway and going around a bend, and it picks up the safety barrier, and the vehicle just slams on brakes. I mean, that is not safe. That's not safe at all. Christo, so I will talk about that. but I need to do it in the proper way, because in that previous video, people took that totally out of context. They assumed that I was saying something bad about it, and it's totally opposite. I 100% stand by the Sol, love their products, very happy with my Jimny and the way it's riding and everything like that. So I will do it, but you need to just give me the time to compose that all properly, because yeah, I was stupid by showing it and not giving the correct context. So I don't want to cause trouble for the Sol when there's no need for that. You know what I mean? So just give me a little bit of time to work on that. I'll put that video together. I'll explain everything. But it's more complicated than just a quick conversation. Okay. Join us with the Ramadan fasting. Hey. Whew. I'm not as good as you, brother. Fasting and me, we don't work well. Is Jimny your favorite car? From Vesna. It's one of my favorite cars. It's my favorite small car. Put it that way. It's my favorite small car. I love it. There's no other little vehicle that I love more than that. And would I go as far as to say I love it more than a Land Rover Defender 90? In terms of looks, I think I love the Land Rover Defender 90. I think in terms of actually owning the vehicle and wanting to own the vehicle and drive it, I think I love the Jimny more. Nathan, do you find you lose weight when you go overlanding? If so, more overlanding is the diet you need. Brother, I love the way you think. I think I do. Because when I was in Botswana, even those couple of days of like climbing up onto the roof rack and like packing away the tent, and like there were days where when I was finished packing up the tent and everything, where I was like, I could feel like I was sore because I'm heavy, man. I'm 140 kilos. Like I'm heavy. So climbing around the roof rack and everything and climbing up on there, it's quite a lot, to move this amount of weight around. So I did feel, and also what's so funny is when I'm traveling like that, I don't get hungry. I eat like a little bit for breakfast, and then maybe I'll eat again at 2:00, and then maybe I'll eat again. Like even that one video where I baked the bread in Botswana, I only ate one piece of bread. Like I baked that whole thing. I was so excited. I was starving. I hadn't eaten the whole day. And then I cracked open the bread and I was like, oh man, I'm so full. I've had one slice of bread and a few baked beans. And I was like, whatever, I'm going to bed. So I think I realized when I'm on overlanding trips, I've got so many other things to worry about that food doesn't really kind of become a problem. Okay, so I am skipping out some questions here. I do apologize, Gustavo. I'm going to get to them now. Adrian, in 2016, I was the same weight as you. Today, I am 85. Mindset is all. Yeah, it's true. I've always struggled with my weight throughout my whole life. And there was a point where when I was just leaving high school, I was exercising every single day. I was in the gym too many hours a day, every single day for like 3 years. And I went from like 125 to 82. And then I went back up to 120, and then I went back down to 100, and then I went back up to 140 the next time. So now I'm hoping I'm not going to get like crazy obsessed and like be wild with it and try and lose as much weight as possible in a short amount of time. I'm going to take it slow. I'm going to take it easy, and I want to make the lifestyle change. You know what I mean? What's the maximum weight you can put on the roof with the Jimny? I've read 30 to 70 kilos. Billy, yeah, that's about correct. 30 to 70 kilos, you're going to be pretty safe. I would recommend upgrading the suspension, always, especially if you're going to put weight on the roof. Sam, your thoughts on Jeeps? Will you ever switch over? Sam Ngo, I love the idea of a Jeep. I love the idea of a Jeep. I love the look of the Jeep. I love everything about the Jeep. I just don't like the fact that the Jeep Wrangler has got massive speakers in it. I just don't understand that. That's not what I want out of my 4x4. It's got dual solid axles and it like sway bar disconnects and triple locked and all of that stuff. And then your boot is taken up by 2 massive speakers, and then there's speakers on the roof, and it's just like, no. Yeah, it ticks all the boxes and then just falls apart right at the end for me. But I love watching like trail recon videos and seeing what they do with their Jeeps and everything like that. I love it. I love it. I watch every single one of his videos. I've always got time for the Jeeps. I just think personally for me, it's cool, but they're also super expensive. Rush Avenue, Defender or Jeep? I would get a Defender over a Jeep. Put it this way, like since I put out that video, I've been doing a lot of research on other vehicles and things like that, and I mean, I would definitely go Defender over a Jeep. R Buttigieg. I was, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I did that to you. I'll never try and say your name again. I live in Malta in Europe, a small island, just 316 kilometers squared. I managed to get one of the last because Europe blocking the Jimny. Now that's a great place to have a Jimny. Jimny works great as a city car. City driving, you go slow, man. You know what I mean? It's slow. I'd get the auto though, so it's really easy mode then if you're gonna have the Jimny in the city. Frikkie, yes, buddy. Off-road get together. Okay, so off-road trail and camping, yeah, that needs to happen. But when you said off-road trail, I thought you were going to say off-road trailer, and that is something I want to talk about in this video as well. So please remind me about that. In Greece, the roads suck and is very small. You have a sedan and you want to buy one car, SUV or hardcore 4x4. But the Jimny scared me. For course on the highway and the big road, what's your experience? Thanos, don't worry about the Jimny on the highway, man. It's designed like any other car. It will drive on the highway. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. If you need a little 4x4, go for it. If you can get your hands on one, go for it. Okay, Defender or Land Cruiser? Now that is really tricky because a Land Cruiser won't break down as much. So that is very tricky. I think I love the idea of an 80 series Land Cruiser, but that's kind of like the city golf of the overlanding community at the moment. It's like everyone's just piling into 80 series Land Cruisers. So I'd like to do something a bit different. What will your first destination be after lockdown? Frikkie, I don't know, man. That's Blaine, yeah. Liquor store. No, you know what? I think because just for context, anybody else out there, if you guys are under lockdown, please let us know if your government has banned the sale of alcohol, because you can't buy alcohol in South Africa anymore. Just like that's how crazy the lockdown is. You can't buy cigarettes or alcohol. So yeah, I guess the first destination trip, I would like it to be a big one, because of that built-up frustration of not being able to travel. So like my brain says to me, go somewhere crazy. I think the reality is I'd like to go to Durban. I'd like to go and play around in Durban and go do a bit of 4x4ing. Maybe just do a lightweight setup on the Jimny and just go for 3-4 days down to Durban and go and play around there a little bit. I think that would be fun. I've never really been to Durban and traveled around there. Never. So fuel consumption on the Jeep is on the thirsty side. Well, the fuel consumption on a Land Cruiser is also on the thirsty side. In that case, I think the Jeep might actually be more fuel efficient than the Land Cruiser. I'm not too sure. Do you see 1.3 Jimnys around your trips? I have one and I wonder if it is worth to invest in or not. Mahir, there are plenty of Gen 3 Jimnys around. Plenty. And they've gone all around. They've done all the things. The only limitation with the Gen 3 Jimny is you cannot load the roof anywhere near as much. Not that you should load the roof a lot on the Gen 4 Jimny, but you really capped out at 60 because the roof rack actually bolts into the roof, so it can actually rip out the roof. So you really don't want a lot of weight on there. So if you're going to use the Gen 3 Jimny, you're going to have even less space than the Gen 4 Jimny. But I've seen guys do a lot of cool things with it, and they manage just fine. Anastasis Fredis bought the Jimny in Greece last February and have really enjoyed it in Athens and did many road trips all around Greece and really enjoying it. That is fantastic to hear. The highway thing is good as long as you go up to 120, I would say. Yeah, I agree with that. The Jimny is not a fast car, but it can handle 100 to 120 just fine. And you can go faster than that if you need to overtake. On the Jimny, rooftop tent or ground tent? I would say an unbiased opinion for the Jimny, I would probably tend towards a ground tent. But on a biased opinion, love me a rooftop tent. And I have access to a rooftop tent. So it's one of those things where I try and use it wherever I can, but I'm also not like beholden to it. I would go Land Cruiser 105, not 80. Rolf, you join us, hey? Just a sneaky little, just a little chirp in there with a little Land Cruiser banter, hey? Yes, you don't even say hello. Rude. Yeah, I think what Andrew St. Pierre White's done with his Africa build, I think that's pretty much just bang on the money for something that I would do if I did go that route. This is something that I want to talk about, and this is something that is going to very much so impact the next Rome build, right? Is that I'm a commercial content creator, okay? I'm not like a filmmaker like Andrew St. Pierre White, who's got a big Patreon basis, and he can just do whatever he wants, right? Because the patrons pay for the content. So he can build out whatever vehicle he wants to, as and when he wants to, because his budget for running his shows and everything comes from his audience, okay? So for me, I earn my income from working with sponsors and things like that. So that's a very difficult thing for me when it comes to choosing a vehicle. I need to choose a vehicle that would work and synchronize well with my sponsors, as well as something that satisfies my needs for overlanding. Now, when I bought the Jimny, obviously that wasn't in the picture. That wasn't included at all. So I just bought the Jimny, and it happened to work really well with all the sponsors. But now for the next vehicle, I need to find something that suits the sponsors, that suits me, because remember, I'm out and I'm creating content all the time. The sponsors may not necessarily pay me to put stuff on my vehicle. That's not necessarily how it works. I might go out and take photos of stuff for them and film stuff for them separately to Rome Overlanding, and then I get paid for that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different cycle. It's a different way that things work. I would love for sponsors just to give me cash just to do my thing and make my videos, but that's just not how it works in South Africa. Tommy Richards, yes, I'm in South Africa. Calvin Demont, my fiance and I are planning a trip through SA, Botswana, Namibia, Zim, Mozambique, Malawi, and into Kenya. What's your thoughts of traveling with a trailer or not? I would say some places, depends on the size of the trailer. I think some places don't allow you to go in with a trailer because you end up causing more damage to the environment with a trailer because you've got to carry this thing and tow this thing through. But you're really going to have to check with your kind of all the campsites and stuff that you're staying at that they're trailer friendly. If you want to use a trailer, you plan your trip around the trailer. You're definitely not going to be doing stuff like Fun Sales Pass with a trailer, very willingly. I don't think they'll allow you to do it because trailers fall apart on that, in certain parts of Namibia. So if you're going to go a trailer, you have to really go high end. You have to get something really good, and then you're going to be looking at 300, 400,000 rand. So I don't know. It's really up to you. Maybe you can just build out a really nice Land Cruiser. If you look at like what the guys do, or like what Juba's done with his Land Rover Defender, or when the one he bought, it's all built into the vehicle. It's got the pop top roof and everything, and there's a kitchen inside. And like they did that trip that you're talking about. They just didn't go to Kenya, but they did that whole trip. Go to Juba's Journey on YouTube and see what they've done and kind of how they've lived in their vehicle, and then think about, do you really need a trailer? Fricky, I have not been to Atlantis Dunes. I have not. And whenever I go to Cape Town, I tell all my Cape Town friends, guys, let's go to Atlantis Dunes. Don't you want to show me around your hood? Do they do that? No, they don't. How can you increase the range of the Jimny? Any ideas? Keep your tires as small as possible. Keep the tread as light as possible. And try and have as few accessories as possible. and there's a potential you can, if you want to carry additional fuel without, it depends on the laws in your country, but you can get a little bracket for the spare wheel that holds a rotor pack, so you can carry an extra 13 liters on there. There is, I'm not too sure what the price is or if it's actually really true or available, but apparently there's a 65-liter tank for the Jimny, a full replacement tank, but it's quite pricey. I guess your JB74 is the most traveled JB74 by far. You're holding the record. Actually, there's people who have traveled, look, in terms of raw kilometers, I know I can count on my hand people who are over me that I know that have done more kilometers. I think Dimitri from Beastie Adventures has probably done twice as many. I think he's on his third service already. Like that's a lot, but he does a drive from Joburg to Pretoria all the time. I think even Blaine, if Blaine is still here, he'll correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's also past me now. Boom, 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 boom. Sam and Gore, I love camping, ground camping in South Africa. Big risk for wildlife animals like lions coming to your site at night. Dangerous. Look, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm nervous. I'm nervous about that. Look, I'm not super experienced being in the bush. I just like when I went to Botswana, that was my first time being in that environment. And for me, I'm just not that comfortable being in the wild on my own and sleeping on the ground. You know, like I really feel much safer in the rooftop tent. And if it means I get a good night's sleep, that's worth it. Oh, sorry, Rolf, I didn't see. Jan Mostert, have you discussed your thoughts on the new Defender in any of your videos yet? It looks so cool, though. We discussed it in one of the live streams. I don't know if it was a recorded live stream, though. I think it's fantastic. I do. But I'm the younger generation of overlanding, kind of the overlanding community. You know what I mean? And I think it's going to be divided amongst the diehards, who are just going to really die hard for the Defender and die hard for the Land Cruisers. And I just think everything needs to evolve. Everything needs to change. And I think the new rendition that they've done of the Defender is very appropriate. I think it's very technologically advanced. I think it's great. It needs to just prove itself in the reliability and the capability aspect. That's all. That it can only do with time. You know, when the first Defenders came out, I don't think people bought them because they were the most reliable vehicles in the world. Let's be honest, you know, Defenders have had a pretty grueling history and they've still managed to maintain popularity. So if the new Defender can deliver on that reliability and all of that and still manage to garner some of that passion from the Land Rover fans, I don't know. I think it's going to succeed. I definitely wouldn't mind having one. I just don't have R1 million. Just got a 2014 Wrangler JKU Rubicon. Fantastic. Keen to get out around the Western Cape often, but don't know anyone to go with. Would be cool if there was a Rome regional group that got together every so often. Now this is why you tell people about your ideas, because they feed back energy into your ideas. Nathan, that's a great idea. And what I'll do is with that list, maybe what I'll do, everybody who's part of that list, I will actually make that a shared sheet that only I can edit, but everyone can, I don't know, I need to discuss it because some people don't want other people having their numbers and things like that. We'll look into it, but maybe what I can do is we can do, we try more proactively use the iRoam group. Maybe that's what we need to do with that iRoam group on Facebook, is transition it to being more about planning some events and doing some stuff like that. Seeing as the group is already there, it's already active, it's already got posts, we just start feeding more kind of attention into that, and then we can make something happen. I'd love for people to comment in there and say, oh, I want to go on a trip in the Western Cape. Anyone keen to join me? That would be so great. That would really add a lot of nice kind of energy into the group. So if you guys are keen to do that, you can head to Facebook. The group is iRoam. Okay, from Papa Reese. My friend was riding a 2-stroke engine Jimny, but it's already broken. It's very rare in Japan now. Well, I don't even know why I read that comment. Turkish lockdown, no problem with alcohol and cigarettes. Is total at weekends and always if under 20 or over 65. Not allowed to leave your home for any reason. Yeah. Have you considered a diff lock? Bush baby pilot. I think about diff locks every time I go to bed. Yeah, Fricky, that 65-liter tank is not cheap. Do we have confirmation on that tank fits in the Gen 4 Jimny yet? Hello, Dio, Anastasi, Freddy. I would really love to make an African road trip to some remote places and see the nature and the villages. What would you recommend for a foreign European to start with? And are there any good overlanders to rent or buy cheap? You can rent, okay, so essentially a great base camp to start at for traveling up, and a really great place to go and see the tribes and really raw, natural kind of features. I would say Namibia, where they went and they did for the Land Rover media trip with Top Gear and all that stuff. They went to a place called Koaka Land, and you can get guided tours through there. You can get all sorts of things. So you'll rent a vehicle in Springbok in the Northern Cape in South Africa, and you can drive up, or you can, I think you can fly to Windhoek and then rent a vehicle, a 4x4 from there. But Southern Africa, you can rent 4x4s, any different type of 4x4 with rooftop tents, fully kitted out, everything. It's a fantastic way for Europeans to travel here. It's not super cheap, but if you're coming here with euros or pounds or dollars or whatever, it's really going to help you, and you can have a fantastic holiday for like, I mean, once in a lifetime experience kind of holiday. How's your spacer and bearings doing? So Rush Avenue, I've removed the spacers. They are here on the shelf. I just kind of got over them. I didn't take them off for any reason. I just wanted to have a narrower wheel track again. I felt like by putting the spacers on, because you widen your wheel track, you sit somewhere between a double cab bucky or truck and a little vehicle. And I don't know. I just felt like I'd rather just be the little vehicle that the vehicle is. If you had to build a bigger vehicle within your budget, what would you consider? From Rikus Peterson. There's a lot of things to consider. It's really difficult. It's really difficult, because there's vehicles that I want, and there's vehicles that I want for the show, and there's vehicles that you guys want, there's vehicles that sponsors want. It's a really tricky thing. So if I was on a limited budget, I'd look at a Pajero. Definitely, I'd look at a Pajero. If you could stomach having a much older vehicle, you can pick up like a 2005 Pajero, like really affordable, really affordable, and you could spend a bunch of money buying rooftop tents and all sorts of stuff for it, fridges, dual battery systems, and everything I'd buy for it would just be like separate things. You know, like say for example, for the dual battery system, I'd get something like the National Lunar box that you can take it out of that vehicle and put it in another vehicle. I wouldn't necessarily do like a super permanent installation or anything. I'd try and keep it temporary stuff that then once you've really stretched your limit of that vehicle, because it's a cheaper vehicle, maybe that's just your overlanding vehicle, and it stays parked until you go on a trip. You know, there's different ways to do it. But if you want something that's going to be your everyday vehicle and an overlanding vehicle and tick all of these boxes, that becomes really tricky. I would look at a more modern vehicle. And to be honest, I'd look at something like a Toyota Hilux or a Ford Ranger, or there's a reason those vehicles are so popular. The engines are good, they're reliable, they're strong, they can carry a huge amount of stuff, they're very versatile. And at the end of the day, if you need to tick a lot of boxes, that's really something to consider. For the 65-liter tank, have you heard of any con that come with installing it? Anastasi, I'll be honest with you, I know nothing about it. I know that it is from TRE 4x4. I think they're an Australian company. You guys might want to just do a little bit of Googling and just find out or the Netherlands, I don't know, something like that. I think they're from the Netherlands. Dio Hermawan, why Jimny? Because I really wanted a Jimny, and I bought the thing. And it was great. It still is great. Jimny is easy to repair, minimal digital gadgets compared to the new Jeep and Defender, right? Yeah, apparently so. The Jimny is a very reliable vehicle. It's something I didn't mention in my review video, and I've actually got a bit of crap from people, and it's justified, because it is something that is a real perk to the Jimny. It is a super reliable vehicle. Asif, hello from Pakistan. Okay, Parker Holland, have you considered becoming a guide to show people places that you know in Africa? The way you explain things is informative, and I think people would love to see the work from your perspective. Parker, you know what? I would prefer to show the places I travel to through my videos. I can show much more people, and it can have much more of an impact on people as well. So I think for now, I want to do the little trips for fun, but that's more of a like we're just going somewhere together. It's not like, hello guys, I'm going to guide you on this adventure. It's just going to be like, guys, let's go to this place. Cool, let's do this thing. Okay, who's cooking tonight? You know what I mean? Where it's just essentially a bunch of mates going on a trip together. It's not like, yes, what are we doing today, Adrian? Like we'll just kind of put something together and, come up with it. So that's why I want to have a database of people that I can chat to and say, cool, I'm in the Western Cape. Let me message, boom, 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 send an email, say, guys, this is what my rough idea is of the trip. Are you guys keen? If you're keen, what things do you want to do as well? You know what I mean? And we kind of do that. We have it very free and open until it becomes more of a formal thing at a later stage. I saw your Jimny not using winch. So how if your car gets stuck on mud? How you getting out of there? Okay, so Dio, yeah, I need a winch. That's it. I need a winch. When we got stuck in the pans in Botswana, a winch would have really helped because we might have been able to at least get one of our vehicles out. And then through that, being able to get one of the other vehicles out. So that's, it is good to have a winch. I just haven't had the money to buy one. So, Fricky, what trailer are you looking at? Man, so I'm not looking at anything specific. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just send out some emails, and I'm just going to approach some trailer companies. The ones that I'm keen on, there's a couple that I'm keen on, kind of ideas. And what I kind of want to do is I want to test different trailers. Like maybe I'll do 3 or 4 if I can manage 3 or 4, if 1 or 2, or maybe do 2 different styles. Maybe you look at something like a teardrop trailer, like a little teardrop caravan. Those things are very cool. A couple of people have kind of mentioned that I should check those out. And then another one is then maybe looking at just a little box trailer, something simple and reliable, and just see how it goes. I don't know if it'll change my mind. I don't know. I need to do it. You see, that's why I put the tow bar on the Jimny. One of my patrons is going to be sending me a wiring harness from New Zealand. So if I can get that installed and I can get everything on, and then I'll be set up to test some trailers out and see if I can change, maybe it changes how I feel about the Jimny, I mean, I'm keen to do it. Guys, I've tried so many things that people have said you shouldn't do on the Jimny. And I can tell you honestly what to do and what not to do on the Jimny. So maybe I should do the trailer. I owe it to you guys. I owe it to all of my audience to maybe just try it and see before I make any big decisions, before I do anything crazy, see if I can make it work. Who knows? Unoziba, the camera equipment I used, I've got a lot of different stuff now. I am planning to do some videos discussing all of the camera equipment. Just trying to sort some other things out in my life at the moment to prioritize that over doing lots of videos. So it is going to happen at some point. Rome Overlanding and Jimny Africa should collaborate with Africa Tourism Department. Jimny Africa, if that's who I think it is. Sorry, I'll just check Jimny Africa. Yeah, African Tourism Department is Jimny Africa's put his Jimny up for sale, so that's not going to happen. Thanks for the reply, mate. This is from Parker Holland. Thanks for the reply, mate. I've fully built 100. Beautiful. When you consider a visit to US or Canada, I'd be happy to host. Few weeks in Mexico, from few weeks Mexico to Alaska. I'll buy fuel, you film. Ha! Deal. Yeah, be careful what you guys offer, hey, because I'm a single man now. I can do whatever I want. Grant Schroeder, would you recommend 3 provinces for a 3-night trip driving from Pretoria? 3 provinces you can do in 1 night. The trail is not long enough to do more than 1 night. because you're going to start the trail. You make it to the campsite, which is midway through the trail. You could, okay, to be fair, there is a early campsite, which is at the beginning of the trail. So you could maybe leave on a Friday afternoon, right? Make it to the first campsite. Then drive on Saturday to the second campsite. Camp there, then drive home on the Sunday. Because you can finish the rest of the trail and get home in one day. So, yeah. Sam and Gore, why are your future plans? Why are new places, equipment you want to try? Okay. Why is what? Future plans and goals. I want to go to Namibia, big on the list. I want to go back to Botswana, big on the list. I want to move above that belt as well. So I've got a lot of travel-related goals. That's why a lot of the frustrations I've had with the Jimny lately have been highlighted, because there's a lot of things that I want to do, and then I feel like maybe the Jimny is not the right tool for the job. So that's kind of why that's kind of been like kind of getting at me, But yeah, there's a lot of places, new equipment. I'm keen to use my Garmin Overlander. I'm really keen to play around with that. I'm very keen to finally get my dual battery system sorted out in the Jimny. I'm keen to get my gull wings in. I'm keen to finalize the draw system, and I'm just keen to finalize the Jimny. I spoke about it a little bit in the video. I just want to wrap everything up. I want to kind of bring the build to not to an end, but get this idea of how the Jimny was supposed to be, and just turn my vision into a reality. It's so close now. Dylan Hislop, agreed on the trailer, small, lightweight, but capable off-road. I think Jimny will go anywhere with the right trailer. Look, I wouldn't say anywhere, because it doesn't have a lot of power, and the places I've been to already, I've already experienced the lack of power in the Jimny with my current setup. Now, adding an extra 200 kilograms on the back, that's where I get my hesitation from. And I'm not talking about driving on the highway where you already have the momentum. I'm talking about off-roading on high gradient hills with rocks and things like that. I just don't know if having that 200 kilos or 500 kilos pulling back on the Jimny is going to do it any favors. And I really think that's where I don't think the trailer is the right move, because you again are debilitating the Jimny for stuff. And the Jimny is not a stuff car. It's a purist vehicle. It's just you and nature and some sandwiches in a cooler box, and you just go out there and just live it and eat it up. That's what I think like the Jimny really excels at. Easy on or front runner? Look, I mean, that's going to be a biased question. To me, it's a no-brainer between the roof racks. The Easy On is super strong. It's really well made, and it's almost half the price of the front runner. I don't know. Look, the thing is, front runner is embedded in a lot of 4x4 clubs and things like that. So the first time people start experiencing their 4x4s and things like that, they end up just doing what the people in the club have, So it's a very good marketing strategy from front runners' perspective, but it also, when you're at the club and everyone's got the same stuff, you feel part of the group, And if you're doing a lot of club trips and you're living that lifestyle, it might be emotionally worthwhile to have that thing. But I don't want to pay double the price for, I don't want to say not as good a product. It's different. The way they're built and everything is different. So to me, it's just, I would rather just, I don't know. I'd rather take that extra money and buy a dual battery system, or put on a good set of tires, or whatever, It's really, that's how I look at it. I'm a bit of a penny pincher. Well, Parker, I'm glad to know you are not joking. So you can also get on the iRoam group on Facebook, and you can message me there. I love chatting to people. You can also share some photos of your trips and things. I generally will respond to anything posted on the iRoam group. I might not respond on YouTube because I'll get 250 comments, and to go through every single little thing is a bit of a pain. But if you're on that Facebook group, I'm there. I check it every day. Saurav, big fan of the Suzuki Jimny and you. Love from India. Thank you. Love and the love. Red winch or worn winch in the future? I'm not too sure what a red winch is. I was looking at the worn Xeon 4500S or whatever. I don't know. It's got a lot of letters and numbers and stuff in it. And they, you know what's nice is, look, I think my bumper can only take an ATV winch, so I can't put a normal size winch on. I can only put the dinky winches on. So I quite like that idea. I like the lightweight factor of those little ATV winches, and they are more than strong enough to pull a Jimny. What would be your argument for the all-terrain BF Goodrich tires versus the stock ones that come from Suzuki? Are they worth it? I don't think the BF Goodrich tires are worth it. They are so expensive. They are so expensive. You can put it this way. The difference you're going to have between putting on the BF Goodrich and putting on a set of General Grabber all-terrain 3s, right, for example, or Hankook Dynapros, or Goodyear Wranglers, the only difference is with the General Grabber, you can get the exact same tire size as the BF Goodrich, the 215/75/15, right? But I think because the Jimny is such a lightweight vehicle, that BF Goodrich tires are overkill and they affect the driving performance, the fuel consumption, and the overall experience of using the Jimny negatively. But they're the most popular tire on the Jimny at the moment, and I do feel a little bit of responsibility about that, and I'm sorry to the world. But I also bought them and paid my hard-earned money for them and have learned that lesson. I should have just gone for the General Grabber tires. I would have saved 6,000 Rand, which is half the price. I could have, you know what I mean? That money can go into buying a roof rack. That money can buy you a camping fridge. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of things. You can buy a set of Max Tracks. There's just a lot of stuff you can do with that money. And I think that's also the thing. You can take that money and go on a trip, you know? So that's the kind of thing that I just look at with the BF Goodriches. I went for the pimp factor. I went for that aggressive looking sidewall. I went for all the reasons why you shouldn't buy an all-terrain tire. But I did go for that ultimate reliability as well. And it does deliver on that. But I think a General Grabber or another brand would deliver on that equally as well. You know what I mean? The only thing that I've heard about the stock tires is that they are quite soft and prone to puncture. But, I mean, you really have to be pushing it hard to get a puncture. It's just for if you're really traveling out into the sticks, into the middle of nowhere, and you're not going to be able to get another tire if you burst a tire. That's when you need that ultra reliability. But if you are in close quarters, or you have good insurance or good AA or whatever, and they can come and bring you a new tire or whatever, and you're on a road trip, or you're taking it easy, I wouldn't bother swapping from the stock tires. Drive them till they're finished, and then upgrade. Yeah, Vanna, I know. It's a. What I'm saying is quite controversial because I know a lot of people have a very loving relationship to their BF Goodriches because of that reliability. But like I said, for the Jimny, I think it's overkill. If I had a bigger vehicle, I wouldn't even get the BF Goodrich KO2s. I would go for the General Grabber X3, or I'd go for the Hankook mud terrains, the Dynapro MTs, because they're a more lightweight mud terrain. So for me, it's a bit more aggressive off road. But yeah, I don't know. Those are the kind of things that I would look at. But because I'm traveling a lot more than a lot of people. So hi from Somalia. My word. Hello, Basra. Mr. Blaine says, will you be investing in a drone if you know that some future travels will be outside national parks in sub-Saharan Africa? Yes. I will not be investing a lot of money in a drone. I know the drone that I want to get. It's just the dinky DJI Mavic Mini or whatever. Just, you know what? I just need simple stuff. I need some basic shots to kind of show a little bit of things off. I'm not a drone master. I've never flown a drone in my life. I don't want to go and spend 30 grand on a drone and then I crash the thing. I don't have depth perception. You guys may not know this, but my one eye doesn't see detail. So I don't have two lines connecting like this of vision. I only have a one. So it's really difficult for me to tell how far something is away. So that and flying a drone is just not a good combination. Comforts and mud tires. You know what? Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to those things, tires, people stick with the one that they like or the one that they trust. Even if there was another tire that performed exactly the same, had the same amount of pliers, had the same compound, the same structure, everything, they would stick with the one that they trust because it's not worth being wrong. You know what I mean? It's not worth being wrong if you get a puncture or whatever. But this is my opinion. A nail is going to go through your tire, whether you have a BF Goodrich, a Mickey Thompson, a Goodyear Wrangler, doesn't matter what. A nail or a piece of metal or bolt or any sort of metal debris on a road is going to go straight through that tire. Doesn't matter what it is. What you want is a tire with decent ply on the sidewall, so that when you are off-roading and your tire pressures are let down, or stuff like that, and when the rocks kind of scratch against, like something that really proves the great strength in a BF Goodrich is my friend Darren over at Bush Tech. His Hilux, he's done some really hectic trails in his Hilux, and the rocks have actually chipped off the first layer of rubber on his BF Goodrich KO2s. You can see the white through the tire because that's how strong that next layer underneath the rubber is. So there's times when having that tire is essential, and having the strength is essential. But BF Goodrich KO2 at the club events, you can ask Blaine, when we are going up really steep, slick obstacles, the BF Goodriches spin and squeal a lot more than a lot of other tires because they've got a hard compound. That hard compound that gives them that reliability and that endurance doesn't necessarily deliver in off-road performance. So they're definitely more of an overlander's tire and less of an off-road 4x4 enthusiast tire. Kind regards from Aruba. Bought a new Jimny here half a year ago and love it. You've inspired me. Cheers. Armando, that is great to hear. Where is Aruba? Is it in Spain? I don't know. It sounds like it should be in Spain, but it could be in South America. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. DJI Mavic Mini all the way. Yeah, Fricky, I think it's a fun little toy to play around. No other tire lasts in Koaka Land, Namibia. There we go. You heard it from Werner. That's it. I agree, because I know that the shale out there is insane. But you'd be hard-pressed to say that a General Grabber X3 is not going to make it. General Grabber, you can buy a 10-ply General Grabber X3. And the BFG is still a 6-ply, or I think you can get an 8-ply in certain sizes and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things to consider. Rush Avenue, what's your previous job? If you don't know what my previous job is, you haven't watched my introduction to Rome Overlanding video. So you better head to my YouTube channel and find that video, and you'll find out all about my previous job, how I learned photography, video, how I got into overlanding and everything. Kevin Pinaglia. Hi from California. How wide is your roof rack? My roof rack is 140 millimeters. 1,400 millimeters. 1.4 meters. Krista Redin, I noticed many new Jimny owners fit 235, 75, 15 tires to the standard rims. Your thoughts? I don't think that's clever. You are 2 whole J sizes over, because the Jimny rim is a 5.5 J, and you're supposed to put the 235 on a 7J, I think. I might be wrong. It might be a 6.5 J. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's clever, man. Now, just think, when you deflate that tire, how much pressure you're putting on the bead. You know what? If I went to 235, 75, I would just go to a bigger steel rim or something like that, a wider steel rim. Aruba in the Caribbean, small island, only 30 kilometers. Oh my word, that sounds fantastic. I'm accepting donations to go and visit Armando anytime soon. Yordi MV, where's your girlfriend? I don't have a girlfriend anymore. Yeah. Sad news, guys. I haven't told you guys, but yeah, we broke up. Salman Rashid, hi from Pakistan. Why didn't you get an auto Jimny? Because I wanted my Jimny now. And I went for the manual. I just couldn't wait. What is that in your Jimny you would like to improve? We are busy finalizing our draw system. That's something that I just want to put the finishing touches on, because I think there's just a couple improvements that we can make on that to make it really slick. Then other things to improve, I want to really nail down the dual battery system. I just want to get that in properly and permanently installed, and because the green box works beautifully. I just don't like having to lug the big green box in and out all the time. So Hopefully with my weight training and healthy diet that I'm on, I'm going to be able to throw that green box around like it's no one's business. But I can't wait to just have that permanently installed. Do you think the hinge of the rear door is going to wear out and sag due to the heavy spare tire mounted on the door? Well, I would say that the 215/75, no, those hinges are pretty solid, man. I don't know if you've seen them. I don't know if you have a Jimny or not, but those hinges are really solid. I wouldn't put much more than that, but it'll handle itself. Favorite meal to make when camping? Sam, it's got to be a potjie, buddy. I think a lamb potjie with a bottle of red wine in there and potatoes, just so many potatoes. Hi, buddy. I have a 1997 double cab Hilux solid axle, and ever since I got involved with 4x4 and looking at aftermarket parts, rock sliders, and bumpers, I started fabricating all my own stuff. And 20, that sounds epic, man. I think that Hilux is like a legend. I think that is a legend. And I think because that's got dual solid axles, hey, front and back. And it's really high. It's got really good ground clearance. I think if I remember correctly, that's the Hilux everyone wishes they had. Ruben van der Merwe says, hello, may I please have a shout out? Hello, Ruben. How are you, buddy? Salman Rashid, any options for installing auxiliary tank under the Jimny? So you can't do an auxiliary tank. You have to do a full tank replacement. Yeah, Blaine, you still have to make me a potjie, buddy. Taku-chan! Hello. Do you feel better now, Ruben? Ruben van der Merwe. You're not so good. What's wrong? Tell us your problems. We will, all 61 of us or 60 of us will help you solve your problem. What does the law say about carrying fuel inside the car? Maybe extra fuel tank behind the seats. So Brandt Dorfling, sorry, my vision's not so great. When you put fuel in the car, A, explosions. B, it makes noise. Any liquid in the car just goes slosh, 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 every little thing. Even when you're sleeping in the rooftop tent at night, and with my tanks on the front, my fuel tanks and my water tank there, if I just move slightly, I hear it sloshing. Because remember, fuel is very volatile, and it moves very easily. So you only have to do a little bit, and it's moving around and doing stuff. And I don't know. I have like a hearing problem. Things really get to me. Sounds and stuff. So that's not great. I don't like that. Because I was even thinking of doing a water tank that goes in the passenger footwell. You know, that's like a kind of wedge that's built. You could maybe fit 40 liters of water in there, and it's low down weight, but it's in the car and it's going to slosh around all the time. Ahmad, your car is a beast. Yes, sir. I agree with you. Edward Grant, hi from the UK. I have a white JB74, got it in March, so haven't got to use it much. Love the content and have already been talking to the guys at Tackler for seat covers. Fantastic. Edward, if you didn't know, if you want to get the Rome logo embroidered on your Tackler seat covers, just ask them. I've given them permission to, if you want to order Tackler seat covers, you can get the Rome Overlanding logo embroidered on it. So if you are going to be ordering them, you can just let them know. You don't have money for much. Ruben, yeah, buddy, it's difficult times at the moment, man. It's difficult times. For my merch. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Oh, well, that's even worse. That's even worse times. Now you're making your problem my problem. Now I don't get to sell merch. No, I'm kidding. Any upgrade on the engine side of the Jimny? Besides doing an exhaust, that's all you can really do. You can't do much. Do you get a lot of cosmetic damage on your Jimny from overlanding? Sam, you know what? Surprisingly, when my car went in recently just to fix the roof and all of that stuff from when my roof rack made 4 little holes, well, not holes, but dents in the roof, I got them to polish the vehicle. And they did a really good job polishing the vehicle. They polished out all of the bush rash, everything. So I've got the car looks brand new again. They even polished out the bush rash on the vinyl stickers on the side of the vehicle. So everything looks brand new again. It's amazing. Proper baffles, maybe. Yeah, and then that takes up space, and then it takes up. Then now you're trying to pour it, and it's got baffles in it, and I don't know. You really have to think about it. It's going to end up being expensive. But I mean, if that's the only solution, sure thing. And 20, thank you so much, man. I will definitely keep going. I know it's been a little bit slow on adventures and stuff, but yeah, everybody knows the situation. I'd rather have these conversations with you guys than make a video that I feel so about. Because we can talk about stuff right now. I can upload that as a video and people can watch it later. And it's just one of those things that I think it's good. I think it's good for all of us. A few days ago, you mentioned that you're thinking of a bigger vehicle. What will you go for, an SUV or an LDV? What's an LDV? Is that a bucky? I would assume that's a bucky. Look, I love an SUV. I love an SUV. I do. But if you haven't watched my Overland inspiration video with Darren from Bush Tech, I see his build, and I'm just like, I need this. I need this in my life. It's so good, so good. And he's got a 2.8 GD6 Hilux, and it's just that canopy build is just great. So in your opinion, how wide can you go on the stock alloy wheels? 215/75, buddy. What you can do is you can do a 215/80 is almost the same diameter as the 235/75/15, but you get less rolling resistance. It fits on the standard rim. You still get the height increase, everything. Tires in that size, you're going to have to look at Hankook Dynapro All-Terrain, the ATM. You're going to have to look at Goodyear Wrangler Adventure, and there's a couple of others, but the brands, put it this way, the brands that do BF Goodrich, the brands that do 215/75 don't do 215/80 necessarily. So it's the opposite brand. So then the ones that don't do 215/75 will do a 215/80. Blaine. Hey. Thanks, buddy. Sure, you're going to make me blush in front of all these people. Don't do that. Since I have 215/75/15, I was wondering if I should change anything else from the car. Will the car be okay with only those new tires? Armando, it'll be okay as long as you don't load it up, but you would greatly benefit from doing a suspension upgrade if you can. The Jimny just transforms into another vehicle when you upgrade the suspension, and it's really worth it. All those weird little safety quirks of the wobble and all that stuff go away. If you like that about the Jimny, then don't change the suspension. But if you wanted to drive just feel a little bit more tight, that works really, really well. Will you choose full leather seats over seat covers? Krista, I like having seat covers. I would, to be honest, if I say, for example, I was placing an order for a car tomorrow and I had to pick my extras, I wouldn't pick leather seats. I would pick cloth seats and I'd put seat covers on it. Because I don't know, leather seats really age. They don't age so nicely. Kevin Penaglia, what kind of cooking stove do you use in the market? So currently what I use, because of the Jimny, the space restrictions, I'm very limited. So I use hiking stoves. I've got one that I can put straight on the counter, and then I've got one that goes onto the gas bottle, and it uses those little propane bottles. And that I carry 3 or 4 of those propane bottles, and I carry 2 gas burners. So I've got one to boil water and one to cook with a pot. I don't like the one that I put on the ground. I've got a cheap Chinese version, and you can't really control the heat. Even the lowest setting is way too hot, and even on a cast iron pot, it burns like mad. So I tend to, when I can, I always take my cast iron pot because I can chuck it on coals. I can bake bread, I can make stews, I can do whatever in it, and I really like having that. So that's a really good option. Then, hold on one second. I'm going to plug Bonbri. This is a fireplace and a grill and everything all in one little baggie. And that is a fantastic solution if you're looking for something where you want to safely make a fire. You can put it on a plastic counter. There's no heat sinks through. So it's actually a very nice option for if you just want somewhere you want to make it, because you can make it like a brazier. It's got like these chains. You can either cook on top of that, or you can enjoy your fire, sit around the fire, and then when it makes coals from those logs, put your food on and cook your food. So it's a very nice option. It's very quick and easy to use. It's making a little announcement in the back there. So Mr. Blaine says, with his amazing and gracious 200 Rand donation, dude, you almost at 50,000 subs. Congrats from the Rome family. Dude, you've been there from like day one pretty much, you know? So it's been really cool. It's been really epic. I mean, so essentially how I met Blaine is I made a couple of videos. He had commented on the videos and he got in touch with me and stuff. And he said to me, why don't you come to one of the Suzuki Club events? And I was like, okay, I'm going to go and meet this total stranger from the internet. And I mean, then think about it. A couple months ago, we were traveling Botswana together. How cool is that? That's what I love about the Overlanding community. And that's what I love about this, is that all of these amazing strangers, all of you guys on the other side of the internet, we are forming relationships as we're going with this whole thing. And that's why I really want to start pushing, maybe doing some meetups and some events and some things like that, where we can really kind of get to know each other a bit better. You know, that's what I really love about these live streams. And I think it's really cool with you guys. We really get to have a nice conversation. Do you recommend the 215-80-15? I do, and that's a tire that I want to try out. So I recommend it because I want to try it, and there's something, I'll explain it. This live stream is getting a bit long in the tooth, so I don't want to go too long. But when you're in fifth gear, it's just a little bit too weak, and then when you're in fourth gear, it's a little bit too high for when I'm saying cruising on the highway. And I feel like going slightly bigger on the tire will balance that out. You'll just ignore fifth gear and you'll prioritize fourth gear. And I think that's what all the guys with the 235, 75, 15s are doing. They've just gotten used to that. They just don't use fifth gear anymore. Nobody talks about it because there's not a lot of people making YouTube videos about Jimnys with 235, 75s. But I do want to try it. Before the lockdown, I was in talks with a big tire manufacturer. We were going to do a whole series of videos on different tire sizes, the effects on the vehicle, all sorts of stuff, but I just don't know if that's going to still happen. I really hope it does. It would be really awesome to do that for you guys, just to explain all of that stuff and to show the difference between the fuel consumption, the acceleration of the vehicle, the ride height, the off-road performance, all of that stuff would be amazing. For me to experience everything firsthand, so when you guys ask me, hey, Adrian, should I put this tire size on? And I go, yes, you know it's because I've tried it all. Did you do caster correction? This is from Edward Grant. Did you do caster correction with your lift kit? Also, did you add any underbody protection like a skid plate? So I don't have a skid plate at all. The only underbody protection I have is radial cup protectors. And when it comes to caster correction, I haven't done caster correction. Dassault 4x4, the guys who put my suspension kit together, they have just released the caster correction, panhard correction. They're even doing new radial arms, whole new radial arms, fully adjustable for caster, camber, everything. Like they've really gone, like they're doing some good stuff there. So after this lockdown, I want to head down to Durban. I want to go meet up with them and make a video about all the suspension components, and we can talk about the caster correction and all of that stuff, what's necessary for what lift and things like that. I think it'll be very beneficial for a lot of people. Simon Cook, look at you, sir, joining us at 4:35 a.m. Do you not have anything better to do? But I appreciate you being here, man. Sam Ngo, $20 donation. My word. Thank you, Adrian. You are very inspiring. Keep up the good work. I hope you continue to grow. All the best. Thank you so much for contributing. And the only way I hope to be growing in the future is in my life and my career, and not this way. Okay, so Edward Grant, and how have you found the Maxtrax Minis useful, or was it better having the full-size ones? I haven't gotten to properly test them out. I haven't gotten stuck since I got them. But what I did find really nice with them is using them to level the Jimny with the rooftop tent, to level the Jimny at camp. I use them a lot for that. Salman Rashid, what do you think about installing a winch and diff lockers front and back? I think diff lockers front and back is a very expensive endeavor. I would just put a rear diff lock on the Jimny because that front traction control does work well. And, you know, having that continuous momentum from the rear wheels, I think you'd be pretty happy with just a rear diff lock. If you want to go balls to the walls, go for it, man. Nothing's holding you back. Thanks for the great answers. Much appreciated. Enjoy the show. Thank you so much, Kevin, for tuning in and joining us. Mark Cooper. Yo, Aussies are in, hey? Hi, mate. Nice feed. What comms are you running, CB radio, for your adventures? And do JB74W stickers make your car sexier? All the best. I've got sad news for you. Two sad newses. I don't have a CB radio. I use a walkie-talkie because I'm a pleb. And I've always, you know, I'm supposed to order the thing and pay for it, and I get busy and I don't do it. And I travel on my own most of the time. So now that this is my get out of jail free card now. This is the oh shit button. But okay, and then I have to tell you something sad about my JB74W sticker. They didn't survive the panel beaters. So I do not have them anymore. But they do, 10 out of 10, make your car sexier. It is proven, scientific fact. You can research it on the internet. Wow, Simon, welcome. What a surprise. Rolf, where would you go if it was your first trip to Botswana? Rolf, I would do that trip that we did. That was the perfect first trip. Seeing Kama Rhino Sanctuary, seeing Makati Pans, and going to the Central Kalahari. Oh, man, you can't beat that. You can't beat that. And look, I'm sure you can beat that with Maremi and Chobe and all of that stuff. But for the first time, there's just nothing like driving through the Pans and driving through the Central Kalahari and seeing all that, the life, the wildlife there is just incredible. The abundance of wildlife is fantastic. And whatever you do, do not miss Elephant Sands. Just book yourself in one night, eat the buffet dinner, eat the buffet breakfast, and spend the afternoon at the pool getting drunk. Just do it. And it's just the most amazing thing, honestly. And with the elephants playing in the water right there, it's fantastic. Blaine and I slept on those little lounges. There was naps were had, beers were drank, talking to random people. We chowed. That buffet dinner, so good. So good. And they got these little pata. That's what they call it. It's pata. It's almost like a little bread, like a little roaster cook. And you cut it in half and you put butter and you put jam on it. And there's just so many of them that you just go wild. And you can eat it with stew. You can eat it, I don't know, it's just delicious. And it's fresh and warm. It is just perfect. Ruben, me too, only the one way. Salman Rashid, love your work and your Jimny. Thanks for answering. Stay blessed. Thanks for joining, buddy. Have a good one. Big Jimny Cub. I fitted a winch, Axon 55S. That's the one. Is that the ATV winch? And also, welcome, Big Jimny Cub. Yeah, we got yes, see, hey. There's a few Aussie fans on. Yeah, good to see that. Definitely. New set on the way. Thanks, Mark. Very short overlanding in the UK. Going to drive to Africa one day soon. Do you know of any long-range fuel tanks with the Gen 4? We've chatted about this a little bit. I don't want to go over it too much because there's only a little bit of time left. So if you rewatch the live stream, I think we talk about it somewhere in the beginning. So what's nice with these live streams is that they get recorded and they get posted, later on YouTube. So you'll be able to find this again if you want to rewatch and get more info. For the biggest ATV, 2.5 kg capacity. I'm assuming you're saying 2.5 tons. Yeah, that's what I wanted to pretty much put on the Jimny, in my bumper, because I can only fit an ATV winch. So that is the one that I was looking at. It's just really difficult, I think if I was just into overlanding and I wasn't into film stuff, because This wasn't cheap. This is the new camera, one of the new cameras. And yeah, I spend my money more on equipment, and then sponsors and stuff give me equipment to use. So I invest in my stuff to make their stuff, to capture their stuff. So that's the kind of unspoken agreement. So until, like, in a weird way, until until I really need a winch, or somebody wants to work with me and give me a winch to test out, that's another thing. But otherwise, I'm very particular with how I spend my money. That's why my first recovery equipment I got was the MaxTrack Minis rather than a winch, because I know that they will work more often. They'll work in more scenarios. It'll just be better in the long run, So if I go to a bigger vehicle, what am I going to do with those things? Do you think if I ever decide to sell the Jimny, do you think I have to sell the Jimny with the baby MaxTracks? Do you think, they're a match made in heaven? Do you think that's right? Please don't stop the live stream. I have to at some point. My throat is starting to get sore. It's almost 9 o'clock. You can watch the live stream back. You can watch last week's live stream if you missed it. It's also on there. I'm gonna make a playlist on the YouTube channel called live streams, and you can go and watch that playlist. If you're really feeling a bit bored and stuff, you can go and tune in there. It's about 4 a.m. in Japan. I'm about to sleep. Thank you for a wonderful time. I look forward to the wonderful Rome videos. See you. Thank you so much for joining. And have a good night's sleep. Well, good morning sleep. Good afternoon sleep. Nick, hello from Malta. Hello, Nick. Okay, guys. Well, look, I think let me just do a mental recap. We spoke briefly about trailers. We spoke about a little bit about other vehicles. We spoke a little bit about the previous Jimny review video. We spoke a little bit about me getting ripped. I'm going to say ripped just to put forward that positive energy. Last question: have you noticed that once the MPG figure drops, it never goes back any higher? Once the MPG drops, it never goes any higher. Trying to figure that relationship out. So miles per gallon, less miles is more fuel consumption. Yes. No, it does. But the thing is, when this is the thing. What happens whenever I want to drive across the country? It's a windy day. That's the rule. That's the rule. It's like, Adrian's going somewhere. Guess what? We better give him a head-on wind. So everywhere, it doesn't matter which direction I drive in, there's head-on wind. If I turn the vehicle around, the wind changes. I don't know if that's just a side effect of being a brick. But yeah, like wherever we drove in Botswana, we had headwind. And that was just, the fuel consumption was just stupid. Just stupid. I think everyone is waiting to hit tracks and trails after lockdown, especially with your chats about trips. Yeah, me too. I was really hoping with our level 4 lockdown, because they've changed us from level 5 lockdown to level 4 lockdown. It sounded like I was gonna at least be able to do some Henry, Rome Overlanding should be an essential service. You know what? I say that every single day, and everybody thinks I'm crazy. I think everyone, never ever goes back up. Always down. I don't know if you've noticed, Big Jimny Cub, but if you go into really cold environments, the temperature freezes, and the temperature doesn't change until like the next day, pretty much for me. So if it goes below -1, my Jimny only goes -1, -3, but then it'll get stuck on -1, and then it'll have to like thaw out the whole engine bay just to be able to, and then the battery has to go off and on again for it to reset the temperature. It's very strange. Nick, I read somewhere that Suzuki might be working with Toyota and exchange intel about hybrid. Did you ever come across this? Since I got my Jimny, I pretty much stopped researching Jimnys. The only way that I learn about Jimnys now is through Mark Cooper's group and Blaine's group on Facebook, the JB74W South Africa group, the Australia group. That's the only way I learn about Jimnys anymore. And I think sorry, even if I don't have a Jimny in the future, I'll probably still be part of those groups because, I love the Jimny and I love kind of knowing about what's happening with them. And I'll tell you now, the second, would you ever consider a seat swap? Oh man, you just hit the nail on the head there. You did mention you're sore back with the Jimny seats. I would recommend a seat swap. I got approached by a company in Thailand who manufactures specialized seats, and they have one for the Jimny, right? And it was a very weird situation because, and like, I don't want to sound like a brat or anything, but they approached me, they sent me the catalog, they said, pick what you want. Okay? So I chose the seats that I want, and they sent me an invoice. So I was like, okay, so I must put this on my channel and generate huge amounts of sales for you on the seats, and I must buy the chair. So it's a very tricky thing when you are an influencer. But I was really interested in trying their seats, and if they were great seats, I would have shouted from the rooftops and promoted their products. That's how I am about the stuff. If I use something and I really love it, you're going to know about it. But yes, I would consider a seat swap. I would, definitely. Love your videos. Please go on with those great videos. Thank you so much, Ruben. Retrimmed my seats and added padding, about 750 Aussie dollars. What? Do you know how much that is in rands? A lot. That's like 10 grand. So what I've heard, right, there's locally, seat covers are about 6 to 10,000 rand, depending on the kind of seat covers you get. Okay, so also in that 500 to 750 Aussie dollars. Okay, you can go and get your seats reupholstered, and I'm assuming just like you did, reupholster the seats, add in additional foam, essentially rebuild the entire seat for 5 grand. That's like, how are the seat cover companies charging so much if the person reupholsters the entire seat and adds foam and does all of that? Very interesting. Very, very interesting. When are you arranging a short trip with the followers? So, Vanna, that's what I'm working on now. Like I mentioned in the beginning, that's one of the things I mentioned, is I want everyone to go onto my website, and in the first banner on the website, click there and register yourself. Essentially, you're not registering so much, you're just giving me the information so I know when I want to plan a trip who to get in touch with. So I need stuff like your location, the vehicle you drive, the equipment you carry, the types of trips you want to do. If it's a day out, a weekend, a week long, things like that. That's the information. If you go there and you enter that information in, then what I can do is I can build up a Excel spreadsheet. And when I get into say, for example, I go to Durban, or I'm in Joburg, or I'm in Australia, or I'm in the UK, I have a database of people that I can get in touch with and say, hey, I'm here, let's do something. Maybe I just tag along. Maybe I'm just visiting Australia, for example, and I say, hey, Mark, I'm in Australia. Do you mind if I tag along? Let's go do a trip. I'll film and photograph everything. Let's go and do something. You know what I mean? That's the kind of thing I want to be able to do. And then with that list, we'll be able to call in other people and say, hey, let's put together a little team of people. Let's go have a cool time. So I think that's really, it will be really fun to do that. And I think in the future going forward, it'll be something fun to experiment with. Do you feel it necessary to carry a firearm in the deep, far out plains and bush? I don't carry a firearm. My father would like me to, just, so he feels safe. So needless to say, I might in the future do the training. I might go and do the firearm training, and, maybe it's good to know how to do that, You don't know what's going to happen in the future with things. It might just be good to have that knowledge and to have that little peace of mind. But I do know some blokes who do carry, and they do their thing and everything, and they're very responsible and they do their stuff. And I don't know if I'm a good person to have a gun, man. I'm way too clumsy. I mean, it's difficult having a Jimny already. I mean, that's already such a weapon. Oh, got you guys. Okay, on that bombshell, that's it for me for tonight. I will take last questions. I mean, 1 hour and 30 minutes is a plenty long live stream. Yes, shoot with a sensor, not a gun. Very responsible idea there, Clinton. Very responsible. Okay, last questions. You pop them in there. I'll do the last 5 questions. If there's anything, If there isn't anything, you guys can let me be free. I'm just going to hang this over here. I'm just going to get it in the light there, looking all shiny and juicy. And how does this fit in a Jimny? Can we just talk about that? How does this takes up the entire passenger seat? Are you a robot? 3 future destinations. Oof. Thanks for the chat, Adrian. Bye from Turkey. Cheers, Mahir. Asensa. Are you a robot? Danny Murphy. Murphy. I am a robot. Wheel spaces doesn't increase wear on hubs. It increases the wear on the bearings. It does, but it's a very small amount. It's a couple of percent. Driving through dirty water causes way more damage to your bearings than wheel spaces. Let's build a massive gimbal arm for that thing. Confirmed. Glad to have confirmed your theory, Danny. I mean, glad to have confirmed your theory. That was a good chat. Cheers. Cheers, Rolf. Good to see you, buddy. And 20, ever thought of an Eastern Cape trip? Man, I think of Eastern Cape trips all the time. Don't come around here telling me I don't think about the Eastern Cape. Eastern Cape Highlands, Buster Footpath Pass. That's my number one. I want to do all of the mountain passes. And then I also want to go to the Wild Coast. So there's a lot of things I want to do in the Eastern Cape. It's big. I want to go to Hogsback as well. There's too many things. It's big on my list. And that might be one of the first places I travel after the lockdown, if we're still locked down during winter, because I want to experience the snowy paradise of Hogsback. Have you heard of lanolin? It's amazing stuff. I haven't heard of lanolin. It is the anti-rust, lubricating, all of the magical things from a sheep out of its gland. So I think it's great. Snorkel, yes or no? Always a snorkel. But make sure you get good quality snorkels, because a snorkel can actually decrease your performance if it's not designed properly. And you don't want to do that. So make sure you buy a quality snorkel. Safari snorkels, they take long to put out their snorkels, as we know with the Jimnys, but they do it properly. Okay. Everybody, thank you so much, and have a lovely week ahead. Happy Monday. Stay safe, stay well, and yeah, thank you so much for joining me on this. This video will be available, I think, from about tomorrow on YouTube if you ever want to rewatch it or cover anything. And yeah, thank you so much. Cheers, guys.